You said I should.
You said you shouldn't.
I said I should.
Wait, what's the 7?
You said I should.
What?
Looking to focus today, I don't think we'll have a case quiz.
I don't know if great clips would do that.
Great clips would do that.
I can't do math in the morning. My brain's not working.
I think it would just behoove us, let's just go one by one, since I think there's much time. Would that work or not? You can ignore and not listen to any of the ones where you feel like you struggle, or I just looking at social studies when I'm talking about. These are the things we really need to focus on. First of all, say hi to Lexi and a lot of you, they may or may not listen or see this. And you can wave. Jax, how can I be of service to you today, sir? Oh, I love my ring. However, what I don't love is I'm missing colors. Hiding back there amidst all the hubbub and hubbub. Ladies and gentlemen, if I were ranking number 8 from least to greatest to the world's easiest problem to the hardest problem,
That's
I
pretty
would
easy.
put it at almost the easiest you could conceive of. Simply because of this. The bad thing about problem number 8 is we don't, in the end, we don't leave negative exponents. The only time you'll ever see negative exponents really in the world of math as a final of something is with scientific notation. And this is not. So Sam Patzold will simply tell you, I just need to do what? Yeah. To change a negative exponent to its opposite, you just move it.
Oh, Grandma.
Oh,
My backpack.
I'm sorry, I didn't say you were going to.
No, I thought
By
it
all
was my
means.
fault.
Maybe if your hair was cut shorter, you would have saw those instructions. You can get a lot of mileage out of that, man.
Oh, nice.
So, the simple meaning on that, ladies and gentlemen, now please, it starts out being this, you take this whole thing and just move it to the top, and the end becomes +5. That's it, game over. Now understand, Ava Russell, if tomorrow on the test they give you a n to the -3 like that, not in fraction form, and say to simplify that, what do you do with that?
Is it the same?
Put a
Put a
1
1
on the
over
right.
it.
Right, it's technically on top of the fraction as it is right now. You would put it to the bottom, it would become n to the +3, and that would be under a 1. Because it needs to go from the top of the fraction to the bottom, or from the bottom to the top. The concept of that is not, that's just a, hey, that's a, on this test, that's probably the second easiest problem next to something else. Russell? 33? Oh, yes. Let's start with the first things first. It says excluded value. What does excluded value? It goes back to never getting zeros on bottoms of fractions. So you have to look first, before you even start it. 8 times what number? 8 times what number? 8 times x. 8 times what number would give you 0? 0. So the first thing you'd say, the excluded value, x cannot be 0. If it is, you get that completely, you can't do the problem because it's undefined. It goes against commandment number 1 over there in the 10 Commandments on the wall. And then this really shouldn't be too hard for you. Okay, you just reduce the 2 and the 8. This becomes a 1, which we don't really put in math, but I'll put it there just for fun. Divide this by 2, you get 4. Then on here, x squared means it's x times x. On the bottom, you have 1x. So 1x on the bottom crosses off with one of those x's on top. So you're left with just 1x on the top. And the book will list them like this. If you put 1x over 4, that would be okay. But again, it's one of the things we just don't do very often in math. Simplify. Can we do that again? Does that make sense? 2 divided by 2 is 1, 8 divided by 2 is 4. With 2 x's on top, 1 on bottom, 1 to the left. That's correct. We are cruising for a bruising. Miller?
13.
Who?
13.
I am 13. Keywords in 13 are the word cube. Cube, Evan Sittler, what is special about a cube? So does a rectangular prism. What makes a cube a cube?
All the sides are.
Ooh, nicely done. A cube has all side lengths equal. That's incredibly important here. They tell you that the volume of this cube is 64 feet cubed. And then you'd have to ask yourself, how do you find the volume of a cube? What? Zoe Solomon. Now, let's stop with Zoe's, because I'm not sure what she's talking about. You lost me after the whatever part. If it was a rectangular prism, let's just look at this for just a sec. Oh, wait. How do you find the volume of a rectangular prism? Which this is, but it's a special one. You do length times width times height. Same thing here, but the deal with this one is the length, the width, and the height are all the same, because it's a cube. So usually math people won't do LWH because they're the same thing. They will go side, side, side. So side times side times side, they're all the same number, has to give you 64. So what number times itself 3 times gives you 64? That's the question on the table. Also, you could write it like this. You're actually asking what's the cube root of 64. That's what this means. And if you do it out, no easy way to do this. You can't do it. It's not 64 divided by something. It's what number times itself. So it's trial and error. You could try 3 times 3 times 3, but that'll only give you 27. It actually ends up being 4. Side length of 4. So that was kind of fun, isn't it? Nobody. I can't help but sense that I can't tell where Ben's looking. Are you looking at me or at the book? Do you want me to do that again? No, you can do that. I'm gonna do number 14 because I know despite nobody saying it yet, that a few of you missed it, yes? I should have brought donuts today, because maybe that would give me some energy. I'm actually thinking, I think I'll go to Sam's Club. How about muffins?
No, those are better.
Yeah, but I can't, listen, I can't, what am I gonna get? I don't have the time to get them. Well, what do you get?
But you have the time to.
Why don't we all, like,
But Sam's Club doesn't have them.
why don't we all just bring breakfast for each other? Like one person has a day. 'Cause we
Maybe
get
Brian
time to
can
bring
buy us donuts.
We
He
should,
gets McDonald's
8th grader
every
every week, one different 8th grader brings treat.
only once a week.
Except for, we got that, you have to follow the treat guide. Alright, back to this. Alright, so, there might still be, what else does Sam's Club have? Sam? What does Sam's Club have? They don't have them. Hey, what about those big Texas cinnamon roll things?
Oh, yeah.
They're like 8,000 calories in one of them little things that you put in the microwave and it's soft.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You've never had a big
So good.
Texas cinnamon
What
roll?
about those french fries? I haven't tried the
French fries?
Oh,
Aren't those
the things that look like
Hey,
scumbags.
I just learned about those last night, so I told
I don't
her.
know what you're talking about.
The
Smiley
smiley
face fries.
From where?
Oh no,
They're
they're
from
I
Walmart
have to
and
show you
stuff.
too.
They're like everywhere.
Not right now. Let's
Oh,
let's
can you
take
get
care of
dino
it.
nuggets?
I don't think so.
Is that front?
Alright, if you're doing 14. Now, if you're David, there's a couple different ways to think about this. Okay, you don't have to do it the way I'm gonna tell you, because if you can think about this, these are actually equal fractions, are they not? There's a little equal sign of fraction. So you could do this, what times 5 is 15? 3. So you know that 3 times 3 is 9, correct? So this has to equal 9. So what number, when you add 2 to it, gives you 9? 7. That's going to be the answer. I'm gonna tell you that would not be the way that I would tell you to do it. If you get that, by all means. Mathematically, how we would solve this would be by cross products. This times this equals this times this. So it would be 5 times x plus 2 equals 3 times 15, which is 45. And you're gonna say, well, that's a lot harder. You may not always be able to think about this. They might give you one that you can't kind of do that. Then you just solve this equation. 5x plus 10 equals 45. Minus 10, minus 10, 5x equals 35, and guess what x equals? 7. Okay. Whichever way you feel comfortable doing it, I mean, this way is kind of, how we did it here was kind of in your headish more, but if it works for you, it works for you, but I'm gonna say you probably won't be able to do that all the time. But this case, why not? Do the best I can here. But sometimes I feel unappreciated.
That's just because it's.
Really? I think it was better yesterday at the end of the day.
Yes.
And aren't you like waiting with anticipation for the next class to happen?
No, what time is that writing?
That guy. I noticed you were bonding with the French braid girl. Is she in your chapel group?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. All right, where are we at here? What's her name? I should know it. Maggie. Maddie? There's gotta be more out there. Really? Don't make me do ones I don't want to do. Russell, nothing? Nothing over here in the, did we do them all? We didn't do them all. I really don't want to start up, because then I would probably have to give you.
What's the one you haven't done yet?
Oh, this one. All right. I want to talk about this one simply because it ties together a whole bunch of mathematical concepts here. One and all. This one here, water flows into a swimming pool at a constant speed shown in the table below. What is the rate of change? See if you, this might be an Evan Sittler thing, okay? You could, just follow along with me here. Watch the beauty of math. And be like amazed. Evan might say, since he really likes to make graphs, he could get out a piece of graph paper and plot these things as 2 points, this being the x value and this being the y value, like make a table. How about that? This would be 3, 12, 6,
Those are big numbers.
44, 9, 36, I know they are. Which would make what, 1, 2, 3, 12. You could still do it and get a really big piece of graph paper. 624 is gonna be kind of way up here, and you're gonna graph that thing there. And then, believe it or not, rate of change, guess what rate of change is called? You've had it. It's the letter M in math. It's slope. You are actually looking for the slope of that line. And if you made the triangle, whatever it would be, you would find out the rate of change. Now, I don't want to overcomplicate this for you. The easiest way to figure this out, find out what its ratio of proportionality or the constant, or just say, what do I multiply? Ben, that was your What do I multiply x by to get y? 4. That is your slope. That is the answer to this problem. The rate of change is 4. The volume goes up 4 gallons per minute. You can do that. How many gallons per minute? That's my change. 12 gallons, 3 minutes equals 4.
Wait, how did you do that?
What number is this?
Again,
How did you solve that?
right here, here, watch. Look at the top number, which is really our x, and say, what do I multiply this number to get that number by?
That's all I wanted. I knew how to solve it, but I wanted to know if it was complicated. It.
I try to complicate it a little bit, because sometimes you have to think. If you can relate the complicated to the uncomplicated, sometimes the complicated becomes uncomplicated. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Did you get it right?
Yeah.
How did you do?
3 times what is 12? And then 6 times what is 24? And it's just
Did that.
because they're all 4.
I just did do
Yeah.
All right. Nobody on this one. Again, I find it hard to believe. Of the 17 of you, oh. Watch how easy this is, ladies and gents. Best way I know how to do this is do a percent box. It is a markup. Please don't cut corners. Know where you stand in math. Know where you stand. If you're like incredibly, like, if math comes to you very easy, you probably can skip half the stuff. But most of you, it would behoove you to do this. This is your percents. This is the actual, what do we got, dollars? This is your original price. It's a markup, so we're adding something to it. And this is your final price. What one do you know without looking at the problem? There's one of those boxes you can fill in without looking anything of the problem. And that London would be, right, where does the 100 go? It starts out at 100% and you're adding a percent to it. So you have to add. And now you just do what they give you. They mark up each frame by 45%. So your final percent is that two added together, 145. The store purchased them, so that's their original price. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to knock off those zeros. You don't really need them. It's $12. You don't need the 0.00. That'll just make your life miserable. What is the markup and the new price? So you got to find them both. Let's go for a beautiful shade of green. So you need to figure out this and this. It doesn't matter what you do. Once you figure out this, you can add those together for that. This is probably where I would go from there. So these are equal fractions. I'll do it over here. 100 over 45 equals 12 over what number? That's pretty simple, isn't it? What would be the first avenue you would do? Because you can't take 12 times something to get to 100 or divide by that. You could if you were smart. Next thing you should try is, David? I wouldn't do that yet. Before I do that, I would, since this fraction can be reduced, I'd try to make a new fraction and see if it works nicely with that 12. What number goes into 145? Uh-oh. Anybody? 5, you get 20 over 9. Does that help? Not really. You can't really go from 12 to 20 or 20 to 12. So if that happens, then you're left with no other option than to the cross product things. 20 times what number equals 9 times 12, which is 108. You're probably going to get some cents left over here. And what do you get if you take 108, divide it by 20? This goes in there 5 times, that's 100. For my decimal. 20 goes in. $5.40. Did I get that right? Okay, thanks. Yes, you did. That was how much the markup was. Your final price then is Ben.
Nice. Oh,
You just answered. Shut off.
well, something's half dead.
His hair's
I think he's still sick.
No,
Well,
his hair's
so
not-
His hair's muffling his sound. It's like absorbing into his hair.
I'm not
Is
sure
that what
that's how
Justin
it
Bieber
works.
sounds like too?
Yeah.
That's what he-
Uh-uh.
I thought his is like her. No, his is like that flat.
You had a buzz.
Oh, why don't you go flat like Justin Bieber?
But
Just like cut off that
Ben,
swoop.
Ben,
let
let
me
me
cut
No,
your
yeah,
hair.
I got
No,
scissors
just
right
like cut off that swoop. Ben, let me cut your hair.
No.
Or do it a ponytail.
Ben, you
For
should do it
real,
as
let
a,
me go back to doing your
Ben, why don't you
ponytails.
do it as a fundraiser for your class trip? Maybe everybody will
What?
pay, everybody gets a chance to cut your hair.
I'll
If they
pay.
chip in 20
I'll
bucks.
pay.
I'll pay.
I'll pay.
See, everybody give you 20 bucks, you'd have, let's see, it's 15 of you, raise 300 bucks. They get to cut however they want it, but it'll grow back.
We all get a portion of your
I'd have like a bald spot here, a bald
It's like a
spot
plastic
here.
bag.
My whole head would be bald.
Then that's $300, dude.
Wait,
I'll do that,
we're gonna do number 16 because I'm guaranteeing you some of you got that wrong also.
We already did that, I think.
No.
And what are notes on it?
I'm just telling you, the reason why many of you probably got it wrong was because there's a negative in front of the letter. Please understand, it does not matter what side the variable is on, you want to get it by itself. To get the m by itself, the first thing you do is get rid of this little guy here, which is the opposite of subtracting, which is plusing. So it goes away, plus 3 there, so you end up with 10 equals negative 5m. From that point, Ella Bromlin, what do I need to do? By? Pardon me? Thank you. Whatever's in front of the m, you want to get rid of the negative 2, so you'll divide by both of them. Why? Because a negative divided by negative will give you a positive 1, left with just the m. Divide this by a negative 5, you end up with, Ella, negative 2. 1 negative makes it equals. Ben, no notes on that one? You've got that one good down?
Alright.
Just let me cut your hair.
I'll do it. I'll let y'all cut my hair however you want for $300.
Can I at least take your hair back to ponytails again?
Ben.
That was a good face.
That was not, no.
Okay.
I don't have enough hair to do that anymore. No, it doesn't, see?
Have you seen yourself?
Just like right here. Yeah.
We're gonna talk about problem number 11 because again, ladies and gentlemen, 2 different ways we close that door, London. Again, whatever floats your boat for problem number 11, here are the 2 ways you could do this. You could, number 1, graph both of those lines. Jax will tell you that if they are in standard form, you would solve them by covering up letters. So x would equal negative 6 for the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The y would equal positive 3. That would be that line. Then you would graph the second one. Find a different color. Cover up the x. Y is positive 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cover up the y. X is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Graph those 2 lines, and they need to cross at 2, 4. Now the problem with that is, unless you're doing it on a real good graph, and unless you're doing it like very nice, I don't know. This might be 1, 4. I don't know. It probably is right because it ends up over there. That would be one way to do it. What's the other way to do it? If you take these numbers and you put 2 in for x and 4 in for y, and it makes both of these equations work out, it's an answer. For example, I put 2 in for x. What is 2 minus times 4 is 8? Does 2 minus 8 give me this negative 6? Yes, so it works for that one. If I put a 2 in for x here, 3 times 2 is 6, and I put a 4 in for y there, I get 8, correct? 6 plus 8, does that give me 12? Is the answer to that no? Was it no or was it yes?
No.
It was no, and that's why. See, I couldn't really tell by my graph, it looked kind of like it was there. But if you put those numbers into this equation, it doesn't work out, so it can't be the answer to both of them. Your choice on how you want to do it.
Thanks, Mr. Hernandez. You take all the time to explain this test for us. You really didn't have to. You really could have just given us the book and then you find out for yourself.
Yeah, guys.
Oh, boy. Any other ones that people aren't asking for that you'd like me to do? London, are we anywhere? What's going on? You feel confident?
Yeah.
I think muffins are the order.
Yeah, I'll let you go for it.
Muffins.
Your hair's
Oh wait, and again, I know for a fact, 70 to 80% of you have no idea what an arithmetic sequence is.
I do. It's
Why would you not ask?
it's
Why do you stand there or sit there?
it's a system that works out.
I thought you said they care about that problem.
Huh?
You say they care about
No, but you still should have asked for personal knowledge.
Arithmetic.
What if I
Okay,
counted-
we can understand.
What if I counted?
Arithmetic means going up a sequence. A sequence that goes up.
Let me tell you, write this down, because if I do give you extra credit, you'll be like, A arithmetic, it's one of those things that they throw somewhere in the book. A arithmetic sequence is a sequence that the terms are found by adding or subtracting.
Oh.
If you can go from one term to the next by adding something to it or subtracting something to it, that is an arithmetic one. The other type is a geometric one. Now, this is almost logical. I don't know why they pick these words. If it's a geometric one, the terms are found not by adding or subtracting, but by see how easy this math is. A geometric one is times and division. Technically, there's no such thing as division. Technically, there's no such thing as subtraction. So you look at this one, you go from 7 to -3u, add 4. 3 to 1u, add 4. 1 to 5, oh look, it's adding, so it's arithmetic. The common difference is this 4, and the next two terms would be 9 and 13. Congratulations. Thank you for stopping by. 12 days to Wonka Fest. How much for the goose, Wonka?
Are we watching a new one?
Which character jacks do you most closely? I think of you as a Veruca Salt myself.
I see him as a Oompa Loompa.
Whoa.
What? Depends.
Yo.
I'm not gonna
Just that was better.
Yo,
luck than
yeah.
said. Well, we'll apologize at some point.
I would not take that level of disrespect.
Ella Broman, wait, there's a question out there. Thank you, Ella. Thank you for asking. Sometimes it feels. Oh, yeah. Are we supposed to simplify? In order to simplify, this is nothing more than finding like terms and combining, or combining. And like terms have to be the same letters to the same exponent. They don't have to be in the same order, but they have to be the same ones. In other words, this little term right here, it will only combine with an x cubed y squared. Okay, and they don't change exponents if you combine them. You're just putting them together. Let me demonstrate as such. All right. For example, here's an x cubed and here's an x cubed. 2x cubes mean that you have, 2x cubes mean that you have just what it says, 2x cubed. You have x cubed and another x cubed. That's 2x cubed. But I have to subtract 3x cubes from that. Subtracting 1, subtracting 2, subtracting 3. Well, I don't have 3x cubes to take away from it. I can take 1x cubed away with this one and another one with that one, but I'm still left with a minus x cubed. They don't change the x to the 6th or 9th or what. I'm doing my best to entertain you. There are no other y squareds, so it just stays 3y squared. I have 4x cubed y squared, and I'm taking 2 of those x cubed y squareds away to leave me with, Sam Patzel. Let me rephrase that question. I have 4x cubed y squared, and I'm taking 2x cubed y squareds away. I'm left with 2x cubed y squares. Now, how about this? Here's one for you, Jacks. If I was writing that in standard form, how would I change it? This does come up on the test, not that you have to do it for this, but it does ask you to do that for me.
2x squared, 2y plus squared minus x cubed plus 3y squared.
See, there is hope, children. Yeah. Degrees, remember that's what I couldn't remember. This is the highest degree one. So in standard form, you put that first. We should probably put it first anyways, because that's how the answer for B will be written. This is the next highest degree term, and this is the last one, which is. Here we go. Let me, by the way, because I did a very poor job of confusing, no, I did a good job of confusing you yesterday on this. So I'm gonna unconfuse you and give you the garden variety. Let me change these numbers. What if this fee was actually $80 per day, or $80 flat fee? You were going for, well, let's say 5 days, and the most you could spend was $480. If you were doing this problem, you had $480 to stay, to pay, you are renting this thing for 5 days, you have to pay $80 just as a security deposit or whatever it is. How would one go about doing that? Well, automatically, Jax, you're gonna lose what? You have to pay this no matter what. So no longer do you have $480, you only have $400 for 5 days. So you're gonna have to say, how much could I pay per day for 5 days, which is $80. Much better than my little. Going once? Going twice?
No.
All right, you're signing in. I hope I pushed start.